What's up everybody, it's JuacoTacoGaming here. Hopefully y'all are doing well. Today I have a pretty interesting video as I'm going to attempt to end the debate between new versus old zombies. So here's how this is going to work. We're going to have 5 sections, each worth 3 points. So it's going to be a total of 15 points with no ties. So here are the sections. 1. The point system. 2. The perks and customization. 3. The weapons and movement. 4. The maps, enemies, and overall feel for a game/map. And 5th, difficulty and replayability. Now, I wanted to do this video to hopefully help end the debate, as I believe both sides have valid strengths and points, but the other side just doesn't ever hear them out. Zombies has basically become 2 different factions arguing it out when I believe it should be more united. So, I didn't want to include story in this because 1, it doesn't really impact gameplay, and 2, New Zombies is still writing the story, so it's not truly finished, and it's building off of the old story. Now, I also will try to do this without being blinded by nostalgia, so each section will be rated fairly. I believe both sides are great in their own way, so no rose-tinted glasses here. And finally, if you guys are interested in any timestamps for any specific section, it'll be in the pinned comment and description. Let's get straight into this. Where do we even begin with the point system? This is arguably the most controversial and discussed change within the zombie community, and with good reason. So old zombies was hit-based. You would get 10 points off hitting a zombie, and depending on how you killed the zombie, you would be awarded more points. This system stayed this way from World at War through Black Ops 3. Now they changed it in Black Ops 4 where you would earn 90 points, still based off hits, but 90 points was the cap, and you would earn up to 60 points depending on how you finish the zombie. With Cold War and Black Ops 6, you don't earn 80 points based off of damage. You earn 90 points per kill, and an additional 25 if it's a crit kill. Now, these new games also have an extra currency, salvage. Salvage is used on additional progression, such as upgrading your weapon's rarity or crafting. Now, which is better? It's honestly a tough answer, as I believe each system works best for its own respective game. However, I still like the old point system better, as it changes the way you approach the early rounds and how you actually kill the zombies, enhancing how you play the game. This new system also makes game progression harder, as you have less points to spend on things like the box and perks, as you're investing so much into a gun as it's really expensive. So while I like that Treyarch tried something different, I would give 2 out of 3 points to the old zombies here. Customization and perks. Now this is where I believe modern zombies shines at its best, as compared to its predecessors, all you had in Black Ops 2 was a couple of different modes, and in Black Ops 3 all you had was a couple of weapon attachments and gobblegums. So it did lay a pretty good foundation, but the newer zombie titles expanded on this in so many different ways with both game customization and even perk customization. So the middle child here is Black Ops 4, as actually that game has the most customizable features for both your game mode and your match options, but it was overshadowed by the fact that the game overall sucked. Now the perk system in this game, it was pretty innovative, I'll give them that, they tried something different, but I don't know why they did because it was received very poorly for a good reason. So instead of having all of your perks scattered around the map, you pre-selected what perk would be tied to a specific machine, which limited your options to only 4 since there were only 4 perks around the map. This is a pretty stupid idea, I guess, but they did try, I gotta give them credit for that. So Black Ops 4, it sucked as it severely limited your options, which obviously never makes a game fun. Newer zombie games allow you to customize everything though, as you can spawn in with whatever weapon you want, whatever field upgrade you want, and even whatever tactical and lethals you want. Heck, you can even customize what character you spawn in, but I guess that can be argued as a bad thing, as a lot of these characters don't have a very good personality, and you have no potential for a map with a unique crew like Call of the Dead or 5. Now for the perk system, it's a lot better in newer games, as it gives you a lot more customization options, especially with the augment system in Black Ops 6. Augments are specific upgrades that you select for perks before a match to better fit your playstyle. They add more life and options to an already loved system like the perk system. Additionally, with the newer titles, you can also have more than 4 perks. I bet you all know that with the older games you only had a limit of 4 perks. Not anymore. In the newer games you can have all of them. The only thing that makes it a challenge is that the price increases with each perk you buy. But overall, I do like this change. So, to me, New Zombies gets all 3 points here for this round because it makes the game a lot more fun and customizable. Weapons and movement system. Now, to me, this is probably the most interesting and diverse topic, as your favorite and least favorite weapons can vary mightily depending on who you ask. For example, Black Ops 1 is probably my favorite overall selection of weapons and even wonder weapons because of both the Pack-a-Punch and even just the guns themselves. Even though I know Black Ops 1 probably has the worst guns, so it kind of depends on how you look at this. But since these newer zombie games have had a health cap, bullet weapons become so much more stronger and wonder weapons are less necessary. So yes, I do believe older titles have wonder weapons that are more unique and creative. There's no denying that the newer games have the overall better weapons. And for movement, this one is where it's not even a question, as the newer and stronger tech outshines the older tech by far. Come on, you're comparing a PS5 here to a PS3. The PS5 allows for the best movement possible. With Omni movement, you can dive, slide everywhere. I don't even think this is a question here. So for me, I'm giving 2 out of 3 points here to the new zombies. You know how I just said newer zombie titles shine in customization and perks and the perk system? Well, damn, the old zombies absolutely shines in the maps, enemies, and boss zombies. Older zombies is just at its best here. And I'm gonna sound very generic when I say this because it seems like everybody says this, but all the older maps had a better atmosphere and playing environment. The older games just made you feel like a zombie slaying machine no matter the map, no matter where you were. It could be Alcatraz Island with a bunch of mobsters, the Pentagon with political figures, or the damn literal moon. Now I know some of these older maps weren't very well received, Transit and Die-Rise, but these older games had so many classic and perfect maps such as Kino, Origins, and Horizon Drac. The uniqueness, variety, and overall aura is just something that the newer zombies hasn't been able to touch. Even though I do really like the direction they're going though. I like Terminus and Citadel Day more. Now, the generic special rounds have also just stayed the same, with the only real change being Hellhounds to now Vermins and like Parasites. It's just an okay change. I prefer Hellhounds, but they're the same thing. Now, the real main thing I'd really dislike here is the boss variety and frequency of spawns, as they're both so much worse in the newer games. The newer games reuse the same special zombies through a bunch of maps, making them feel less meaningful to how a map can actually feel different from one another. The increase in spawns for these zombies sucks because they don't feel unique or actually make the game harder, more just a nuisance. Now, what made these older zombie titles so special and the maps was how unique these boss zombies were. For example, the Pentagon Thief, Brutus, and George Romero were all only on one map, and they all presented a different challenge and reward, making not only the game, but each map feel more unique. So for this, I believe Old Zombies gets all 3 points for this round. We're all tied up at 6 points for each side. So this final round is going to determine which generation of zombies is truly superior. And it also happens to be arguably the most important category that every single video game strives for. And that's difficulty and how replayable a game is. Now let's be completely real here. Judging how replayable a game is can be a challenge because it's mostly subjective depending on your personal preferences for all the sections that I've already listed above. And I've also found that both generations have about the same amount of content in total, and both can get pretty repetitive after a while. But there was one thing that regarding replayability I thought was much better in the older titles, and this is split screen. Now if you're a solo player, this doesn't really impact you. But if you've ever played split screen before, you know just exactly what I'm talking about. It was so much better in the older titles as you could play 4-player split screen. I have no idea why the newer titles limit you to 2 players. It's a stupid, simple change, but it deducts points for the newer titles in my opinion. And since we also have to talk about the difficulty level here, I'm just going to be straight up. I personally believe that the original zombie games are harder while also being easier in their own way. That doesn't really make much sense now, does it? Let me explain. So for every one thing that New Zombies does to make the game harder, it does another to make the game easier. For example, super sprinters and damage scaling do actually make the game harder, but the abundance of score streaks and field upgrades make it super easy to get out of a sticky situation. You're trapped in a corner, mutant injection. You're trapped in a corner, ether shroud. You're trapped in a corner, a gobblegum. With the older games, it was simple. You get stuck in a corner and you're dead unless you got the thunder gun. You're as good as gone. Since the older zombie games also have no health cap and no score streaks, the only reliable way to kill zombies for high rounds was with traps and wonder weapons, making the challenge, in my opinion, much higher than in the newer games. So because of all of this, I believe the old zombies gets 2 out of 3 points here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have our answer. Old zombies won the majority of points on the point system, maps and enemies, and difficulty and replayability, while newer zombies won the majority of points on the perks and customization, and weapons and movement. You know what this means, right? Old Zombies has officially won, with the score of 8-7 as our final score over the new zombie titles. A very close contest. And if I'm going to be honest, I did expect this to be a really close contest, even before I started making this video, as the newer zombie titles do have some really nice upgrades over the older ones. Though I'd be lying if I said I'd pick the new titles to play over the older ones. And maybe that is just because of the nostalgia factor, I don't know, but that's my 100% honest opinion. So that's going to conclude this video, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed it, and I'm always open to further discussion on this topic regardless of whatever side you're on, because at the end of the day, we can only truly end this discussion as a community. So I'd love to read and discuss with every single comment. I'll hopefully catch you all soon. Peace.